welcome back to our channel, Better Than Yesterday. It's been a while. I'm Daniel Hammond, that's Maki Hans van Rensburg, my good friend. And today we'll be talking about how a long-term mentality benefits us. Michael, we've been in the July challenge for 5 days now, bro. Tell me how you've experienced it so far.
Sure, man, dude. It's been so awesome, bro. I must say, like the past 5 days have been a challenge, bro. Like we said, I think a couple of the things that we put into this challenge, were things that me and Daniel have already been doing in our lives. But the fact of the matter is, like now it's becoming a thing that is like forced to be into your daily routine. So I must say, I've been finding that really cool, bro. And it is a challenge, but we gotta keep it up, man. And I've been enjoying it, bro. And it's been super cool to see some of the people that have been joining us as well. The people in collaboration that we've been doing it with the 5 a.m. club. So I've been really enjoying it, man. And I think we're all going to grow from it, bro. Definitely by the end of the month, keen to see those results coming our way. But yeah, man, getting into the topic of the video, like you're saying, bro, sort of the switch to a mindset of having long-term goals versus having short-term goals. And I think it's really important, bro. A lot of people our age, might be thinking, it's easy to chase things that are in the short term. You might see something that's in front of you right now, which seems really attractive, and that's what you want to strive for. But what we're talking about today is sort of the reason why you should actually be looking more towards something that's going to benefit you in the long term, despite the fact it might cause you a bit of it might take a bit of hard work right now. It might cause a bit of pain even right now, but you got to work through that so that in the long term, you're really reaping the benefits of that, bro. So one of the first points I want to make, bro, is that when you do build towards having long-term goals versus short-term goals, you gain what you lose plus much more in the future. So a good example of this, bro, and that's sort of what that means really is compounding, bro. And what compounding means is that you're generating earnings from previous investments and earnings that you've made, bro. And that can be, for example, in a monetary sense, when we're talking about like putting investments into different cryptos, different stocks, like we were saying, let's say you're putting in a few $100 or a few $100 into a stock now. In a few months' time, it'll actually be growing into like maybe double that, even if it's like 50% on that. Then you're able to take that money out, and now you've got way more than you had before. Whereas, if you spend it all on a night out with friends or something like that, you're never going to see that money again, bro. That's the sad reality of it, bro. And even whether it's with your time, with your money, with your with the people you're spending your time with, bro, whatever it is, that's the benefits, is that what you lose in the short term, that pleasure, that thrill, or whatever it is, or even just gaining that new little item, pair of shoes, whatever it is that you wanted to buy, you gain that in the long term because you've been building towards something that has it has a foundation rather than something that's just like here in the future, but it's got no backing.
Yeah, no, bro. I've totally experienced what you've said, and it sucks to look back and when I've bought something in the short term because I've liked it, but then in the end I end up regretting making that decision. Where I ask myself the question, Daniel, you could have used that money for something else, or you could have used that money and grown the money instead of just spending it all at once. So, bro, I think what also can help us in is where we set like a plan, like a life plan for 5 years into the future, which will help us think of what we're doing now and seeing how it will like having a plan or a target which we can reach in that 5 years, which will help us get into that thinking that what I'm doing now is not just affecting me in this moment, but it's tied up to my future and how it's going to affect me in my future, bro.
Yeah.
So that's the lovely thing. Like, for example, when you go to school, you study, you sacrifice a night going out with friends and instead stay home and study. And then in the end, you have that good feeling, that satisfaction that I've actually done the best in the test which you've studied for, instead of going out and then coming back, cramming for the test and regretting the fact that you didn't stay and just did like the study and go out maybe like the night after the test. So it's really beneficial. It makes us happier as well. And I don't know how have you experienced like having to do a test or having to make a decision between studying for a test or going out for friends. Like, how do you handle the situation like that, Mike?
Yeah, bro. I mean, look, man, we all human, bro. And I think, but that's something that, both of us had to do throughout our high school career. And even now that we're students, I'm sure like a lot of people that are watching this video right now might be students as well, whether it's in high school or at a university or college of sorts. So there's always those situations that are gonna be put in front of you, man, whether it's like you say, just it can seem just like something small, it's like spending 3 or 4 hours like hanging with friends versus like, okay, I'm gonna put the time in. And it's not like it's not like you never do any of that kind of stuff. It's more just like when you have to prioritize something that's going to benefit you in the short term, going out, having a bit of fun, but then the next day you don't know anything about what's in the test, bro. Versus choosing like something like you said, which is going to benefit you long term, which is, okay, I'm going to stay at home, study for a bit, make sure that I know my stuff instead of, spending all that time doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Then the next day you write the test, you do well, you pass your semester, things are going well for you, bro. So that's kind of my experience of it. I think both of us, had to make those kind of decisions in our school career as well, just to make sure that we were, achieving what we wanted to achieve, man. And even now in varsity, it's a constant thing, bro. So yeah, man, I think, that's the thing. There's always little sacrifices that you have to make. And that's almost what we're talking about, is like the fact that there is a sacrifice to choosing the long term, because it's never, right now, what seems beneficial is the short term goal, whether it's spending money on this, whether it's going out. It feels like a big thing at the time. You're like, oh, I really want this thing. I really want to have it now. But then if you think about it, it really takes some time and you think about it for a while, it's not quite what it seems. You really can do without that, to be honest. Like, you don't need to go out for that night. But that one Friday, you're going to have many more times like that in the future to go out and have fun. And you got to make memories, bro. So, that's the thing, that you can't look at something as like a be all and end all. There is always another time, and there is always, that life is a long-term goal and a long-term game. That's kind of what we're talking about, bro. And choosing the long-term, like, you will thank yourself so much more in the future, bro. I mean, even some of the decisions we're making right now, we might not be seeing the benefits right now, especially like even the money we're putting into like different investments, stuff like Ripple, which we've just been, doing a bit of research in and putting some money into that. You're not seeing any kind of returns from that at the moment, but in the future you really will, which is something that's, you got to have some trust, in the fact that will happen. But it really does, bro. And honestly, like you say, it's actually a good feeling, because even when once you've put in the time and the money into that, you really do feel like you've done something like good. And sometimes you can come home from a night out, or come home from buying something that maybe you really didn't need, whatever it is that you've chosen, and you can really feel quite unfulfilled. That it was like something that you wanted to do at the time, but you realize that it actually wasn't the right decision, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro. And like you said, with when we'll thank ourselves in the future and later, it's really true, man. I've heard lots of stories where people said, I wish I knew this by 20. I wish I did this different. So having like this long-term mentality, thinking of the future and not just now, helps us not make those mistakes and helps us learn out of those people, and then basically make choices now that are beneficial for later, choices that will definitely put us in an advantage and help us to live that happy life. Because I think in the end, that's all we really want. We want to have a happy life. It's never just about the money. It's never just about being successful in terms of driving the best car, but it's about being happy in what you've achieved, going for your dreams and not for what society puts out there as necessary in this like short-term moment, but really seeing something that makes you happy. And with wrapping this up, it's something that Michael and I still work on every day, and that's like the great thing about this community, like Better Than Yesterday. We are also still working on this. So when we're talking about this mentality and all these ideas in the different videos, it's also stuff that we are learning, and we're basically also talking to ourselves, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's
So
true,
it
man.
was,
I think,
yeah,
like you're saying, bro, it's kind of like a lifestyle that you have to work towards the whole time, and that's kind of the thing, it's a long-term lifestyle, and um, it's something that we're trying to adapt into our own lives, and it's important, bro. Like you'll see the difference between someone who is taking on a short-term lifestyle and someone who's taking on a long-term lifestyle. It's just, in the beginning, it might. I remember a couple of videos ago, man. It was a really cool point that you made. Is sometimes it can seem like in terms of the graph, like this person is going up a lot because they're doing all these things that are benefiting them a lot right now. And the person who's on the short term, on the long term one might be developing at a bit of a slower rate, but eventually you actually overtake them like a lot, bro. In terms of like how things
yeah,
go up in life and that kind of stuff, bro. But yeah, man, dude, it was like a really cool conversation, bro. I think, like you said, even with the stuff we've been doing with this life challenge so far, bro, it's been things that are going to benefit us in the long term, health wise, journaling and that kind of stuff as well. That's like for your mentality and everything. So I'm excited, bro. I think it was cool, like a lot of the points that we made, bro. And like you say, it's something that we've still got to, get better at, and that's why we're talking about it, bro. You gotta bring these things into the light, man. So I really like what you
yeah,
said, bro.
true. What I was just going to end off with is that something that is worth doing is
Mm,
not something easy. So, like those rewards that you need to work for in the end is going to give you more satisfaction and is going to be worth it. Yeah, man.
so
Thanks
good,
for
bro.
talking.
Always, man.
And be sure to leave a like,
Yep.
a comment as well, and check us out on Instagram as well.